ॐ दक्षिणास्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्ण पाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। So now, in the first 39 to 40 verses, Bhagwan Shankaracharya talked about Atma Anatma Viveka. So he said, what is this Atma? And I, the consciousness alone, is Atma. Everything else other than me, the knower, this consciousness I, is Anatma. Now what happens? There is a confusion. You say now there is an Atma. Something other than the Atma is called Anatma. So are there two things now? There is one Atma and one Anatma. Then what is this Advaita we are talking about? Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. There is only one consciousness. There is only a Brahman which is one without a second. Ekam eva Advitiyam Atma or Brahma, which we saw in all the texts that we studied, all this time, starting from Bhagavad Gita onwards to everything. And if there is only one thing called as Brahman, what about this Anatma? How do you account for this Anatma? And when I am here in this world, I see something very solidly. The world around me, the other jivas are solidly available to me. They are solidly experienced by me. Then how can the Shruti say that the whole thing is an Atma? So we have to account for this whole world. There is one I, and there is something other than the I, which is the whole world. You may give it any name. You can call it Anatma, you can call it whatever you want. But then, is that a second reality? Is there one other thing other than the Atma? If so, if there are two things, Atma and Anatma, then where is Advaita? Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma, where is it? It's not there. Therefore, our scriptures say that, yes, the whole world around me, including all the other jivas, including this whole body, mind, sense complex, they are available for perception. They are available for vyavahara, but actually speaking, they are not there. They are as if they are there. They are an experienced reality, but they are not the absolute reality. Like I gave various examples last time, we experience a sunrise and sunset, but in reality, there's nothing like that. We experience a stationary and flat, earth, but we really don't have anything like that. We experience something called as a dream, but really speaking, the dream is not there. We experience a dome shaped blue sky, but there is really no dome nor the blue sky. We experience a mirage water, but there is really no water there at all. And we gave an example, the stock example of Vedanta, Rajju Sarpa. We sometimes, in very, very, you know, not a bright light, but in manda andhakara, in dim light, we may mistake something for something else. A rope may be mistaken for a snake, a rope may be mistaken for something else. So the experience of snake is there, but in reality, the rope is not there. So this kind of a reality, which is experienced, which is transactable, which is there at the time of experience. But when we know the truth, when we know the reality, then we understand that what we experienced is not real. It is not the real thing. This particular thing we call as mithya, asat or mithya. Mithya doesn't mean the world does not exist. It's not shunya like the Buddhas say. It doesn't mean nothing is there. It is there. There is an experiential reality. There is something which I'm solidly experiencing. But really speaking, if you look at it, it is really not there at all. Therefore, it is something like looking at a plastic fruit. You know, you sometimes have this plastic flowers and fruits which look so real. They're experienced. We feel they're real. But you try to go and touch them and see them from, near, you know that they are really not the real fruits. So it's an experiential reality. Therefore, our scriptures say that this whole universe is nothing but an experiential reality, which means it is mithya. Then, what is the only Satyam? I, the knower consciousness. I, the consciousness, is the only Satyam. Everything that is experienced by me are the objects of experiences, and they are nothing but mithya. Therefore, remember one thing: all the objects of our experience, and all our experiences are mithya. They are temporary realities. So many times we are very proud and happy. I myself have experienced this, we say. Remember, whether I myself has experienced this, I myself is the reality. What I have experienced is a false reality. What is the meaning of false reality? A lower order of reality. Not the Paramarthika Satyam, but Vyavaharika Satyam. And now, from the 41st, 42nd verse onwards, Bhagwan Shankaracharya is talking about this Mithya Jagat. What is this Mithya Jagat? What is this Anatma? What is the nature of this Anatma? We talked about the nature of Atma first. Atma eva Satyam. We talked about it. And also the teaching of Vedanta is Jagan Mithya. So what is the meaning of this Mithya? What is the status of this Jagat? Like supposing you ask me, what is the status of your dream which you dreamt it was so real when I dreamt it? What is its reality? Yes, it was there at the time of experience. But the dream itself really has no stuff. It is not the absolute reality. It is no longer there. If you say it is not there, it was there. If you say it was there, now it is not there. This kind of a reality, which if you say is there, in reality it is not there. But if you say it is not there, but it is there for experience, Sat Asadbhyam Anarvachaniyam. This is what is called as the Anatma. And Anatma is nothing but a projection of Maya on oneself, on the Atma itself. This is the central teaching of Vedanta. Brahma Satyam or Atma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Therefore, there is only one thing From the point of the individual, that Chaitanya Swarupa individual, Chaitanya Swarupa is called as Atma. And from the point of the Jagat, from the point of the total, that which gives existence to everything is called as Brahman. So, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This Atma, which is the very content of this Jiva, is not separate from Brahman. This is the ultimate teaching of Vedanta, which is made very simple in Aparokshanubhuti, where Bhagavan Shankaracharya is clearly dividing 40 verses of Atmaswarupam and then now the Anatmaswarupam. And we saw in the 43rd verse last time, which we took, Chaitanyasya ekarupatvad bhedo yukto na karhichita jivatvam cha mrishagneyam rajvam sarpagraho yatha. This very jivatva, this very individuality, which I say, I am this body, I am this mind, I am born to so and so, I was born on this particular day, I do this particular work, I am so much qualified. All these ahankara embellishments of myself is nothing but mithya. There is really nothing like that. It is just an experiential reality to conduct my transaction with the Anatma world. And so he says, Jivatvam cha mrisha. Mrisha means what? Mithya. Mrisha means bhranti. You ask a person who is intoxicated, he sees things and he says it is real. But I know it is not real because I can see that what he's seeing, he's not seeing. But he's seeing it. You may say it's a delusion. He's deluded. We are also deluded. When we give Satyatvam to this whole world and say that this is Satyam, all these things, we are also deluded. That is why in Bhajagovindam, what did Bhagavan say? Bhajagovindam Mudhamate. We are all deluded. A person who is mentally not sound sees things, hears things, hallucinations. And we say he's hallucinating because we know that it's really not there, but he's seeing it. So it's a false perception on the part of this mentally ill patient. So we say it's hallucinations. But what are we having? It's the same thing. We are not any different. We are also hallucinating in a different way by taking the anatma to be satyam and getting affected by the anatma. Just like a mentally affected patient sees something and gets afraid of what he has seen when something is not there. Same thing with me. I look at the Anatma Jagat, which is not there really in reality. I take it to be the reality and suffer from samsara. The samsara of a mentally ill person and the samsara of me, supposed to be mentally normal person, are in no way different at all of us are deluded. Some of us are more deluded, some of us are less deluded. The only person who has completely come out of the delusion is a jnani who has understood that aham satyam jagan mithya. Now we'll go to the next verse, the 44th verse, which says, which gives the analysis of this anatma. Analysis means what? Why am I mistaking this anatma for reality? In the last session, also, I explained that when I know something, but I don't know fully what it is, there is always a scope for misunderstanding. When I see a rope in clear light, there's no question of mistaking it for anything else. When I don't see the rope in absolute darkness, also, there is no question of mistaking it for something else. But in dim light, I know something is there, but I don't know exactly what is there. That is the time of confusion. Same thing. I know I am, but I don't know I am Brahman. This partial knowledge of myself is what is giving rise to mistaken notion. When I hear something very clearly, I know what I've heard. When I don't hear anything at all, also there is no confusion. But when I hear something very, partially, somebody is gossiping something in very low tones, I'm somewhere nearby, I hear something, but I don't know the exactly what it is, then I will make up my own stories. They were talking like this, they were maybe something else. This is the delusion we are all suffering with respect to the anatma. So what is the genesis of this confusion? That's what is being talked about here. Let's go to the 44th verse. Rajvajnanaat kshanenaiva यद्वद्रज्जुर्हि सर्पिणी भाति तद्वच्चितिः साक्षात् विश्वाकारेण केवला. So, Rajju Ajnanat. When there is Rajju Ajnanam, partial Ajnanam, not total Ajnanam, what happens? Kshanena yeva yadvat Rajjurhi Sarpini. Then when there is a partial knowledge or ajnanam of Rajju, partial knowledge also is ajnanam. Total lack of knowledge is also ajnanam. Partial knowledge also is ajnanam. Rajju ajnana, when there is a Rajju ajnana, that is partially known. Rajju means rope. Kshanenaiva, in that moment, immediately, Yadvad Rajjurhi Sarpini, the Rajju itself becomes a Sarpini. Becomes means what? It doesn't become. The moment I see it partially, the effect of Ajnanam is what? A projection of a Sarpa immediately. So somebody asked, why Shankaracharya is saying Sarpini? Why is he making the Sarpa a female here? It is only for the sake of the meter. To maintain that Anushtup Chandas, one word extra was needed. So if he says Yadvad Rajjuhi Sarpaha, maybe he didn't want to say that, so he made it Sarpini. That doesn't matter. Sarpa or Sarpini doesn't matter. Anyway, we see a snake, whether it's a male snake or female snake, it makes no difference to us. Then, the moment there is a knowledge that this is Rajju, how the knowledge has come about? Somebody comes and puts a torch there and says, hey, don't worry, this is only a rope or this is only a water hose. Then what happens? When the Rajju or the snake is revealed in its real nature, where did the Sarpa go? It was not there in the first place. So where can it go? When it has not appeared, where can it go? So when we say, oh, Rajju, Sarpa is gone, Sarpa is not gone. Sarpa was only a projection in the mind. Therefore, when the knowledge of Rajju became clear, the Sarpa just disappears. The mistaken notion just disappears. It does not go away anywhere because it was not there in the first place. Similarly, he says, Bhati tadvat chitihi sakshat chitihi bhati vishwakarena. Similarly, this Kevala Atma, this Atma, which is actually Sakshi Bhuta Atma, Sakshi Chaitanya Atma itself, when I do not see it clearly, when I do not understand it clearly, but I'm aware of it partially, I know I am, but I don't know what I am. What does it do? I project something which is not true. I project a body mind sense complex on it. I project another Jiva's body mind project a sense object on it and say, he is mine, she is mine. I project a name and form on it in the form of the objects of the world and say, this is mine, this is mine. Aham mama. Okay, aham shariraha asmi. And this particular body, which is some way associated with me, belongs to me, mine. All the aham mama comes because what? Chitihi. Chitihi means what? This Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, Bhati, manifests itself Vishwakarena. So, what is this Vishwa? What is this whole universe? It is just a projection on this Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. This Satchid Ananda Atma itself, when not known in its reality, in its real sense, manifests itself Vishwakara Rupena. It manifests as the Vishwakara, Vishwa Akara Rupena Bhati, Swayam Sakshi, Swayam Chitihi. Chitihi means this consciousness. That's why we saw in Dakshinamurti Stotram, no? Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam. Isn't it? He gives two examples, Darpana Nagari and Swapna Nagari. The Nagari I see, the whole universe that I see in my dream universe. It is like that only. This Nagari which I see as a reflection in the mirror. So, what is all this whole universe? It is like a Swapna Nagari, it is like a Darpana Nagari, like a reflection. It is just a manifestation of Atma, appearing as a projection. Brahman with the help of Maya. Maya's Vikshepa Shakti projects this whole universe. By its Avarana Shakti, it covers the reality of my nature. So the two Shaktis of Maya, Avarana Shakti, which we call as the Avidya, and the Vikshepa Shakti, by which the whole false universe is projected. So does it mean that this table is not here? Does it mean that I'm not talking to you? No. The transactions are going on. But what is there? Am I really this speaker existing? No, only the Atma, I am existing. The speaker, me, is just a manifestation of this Atma. You, the listeners, are just a manifestation of this Atma with all your karadas. Like that, the whole world is a reality. Which form of reality? A lower form of reality, Vyavaharika Satyam. The Paramarthika Satya Atma is being projected, manifested as this Vyavaharika Satya Prapancha because of avidya, because of ignorance, partial ignorance. Then, in the next verse, in the 45th verse, Acharya says, Upadanam prapanchasya brahmanonyana vidyate tasmat sarva prapanchoyam brahmaivasti na chetarat. Simple. This is a simple words which all of us can understand. Upadanam prapanchasya. Prapanchasya upadana karanam. Jagat karanam. The material cause of this entire prapancha. The material cause of all that appears. Prapanchasya upadana karanam. Brahman. Brahmanaha anyat na vidyate. There is no other cause other than Brahman. So, what did we say? How did we describe Brahman in Tattva Bodha? Brahman is the nimitta upadana karanam of this entire universe. It is the material with which this whole universe is made. At the same time, it is the intelligent principle behind the manifestation of this universe. So, nimitta karanam, upadana karanancha Brahma. Brahmanaha anyatna vidyate. There is no second thing. Because we have to, what are the Upanishads saying? There's only one thing in this whole universe. In Mundaka we saw, tell me that one thing by which, knowing which I will know the whole universe. Who said that? The Shishya asked the Guru. Isn't it? Huh? So this is the way Upadanam, the material of the whole universe is Brahmanaha Anyat na Vidyate. There's nothing else other than Brahman. Like In this sari, the threads, the silk threads are the karanam, and this fabric is the karyam. Correct? So, what is the karanam of this, upadanam of this? The silk threads which are woven. So, what is this? It is silk threads only with their name and form. What is a fabric? Threads which are woven in a particular way, which give it a name and form called as this particular fabric. So if this is remaining as a sari, I call it a sari. If a dress is made out of this, I'll call it a dress. Correct? So ultimately, what is the reality? It is nothing but that threads. And we can go backwards like that, and ultimately we'll end where? With Atman only, with Brahman only. So prapanchasya upadanam, the basic material, that because of which the whole universe appears, brahmanaha anyatra, brahmanaha anyat na vidyate. So you may say that Brahman does not undergo any change, you said. It is nirvikari, you said. It is not a matter principle, you said. Then how can all this matter principle appear? Brahman, with its Shakti Maya, which is the primitive matter principle, manifests itself as the whole universe of names and form. Tasmat sarva prapanchaha ayam, therefore this entire universe, whatever you see, whatever you know, tasmat sarva prapanchoyam brahmaiva asti. This whole universe is nothing but Brahman with a name and form. Who am I? I am nothing but this Atma Brahman with an incidental name and form called as the body. Okay. So, what is this whole Jagat? Tasmat, therefore, Sarva Prapanchoyam, this entire universe without leaving behind anything, Brahmaiva Asti. Brahmaiva idam sarvam. Whatever is there here is nothing but Brahman. Brahmaiva idam sarva. Brahmaiva asti nacha itarat. Nothing else. There is nothing else which is the cause of this universe except Brahman. Brahman is that intelligent principle in which the primitive matter principle called Maya projects a material universe. Entire matter, including Maya, is only a Vyavaharika Satyam. It's only an experiential reality because it is Anityam, it is Vikari, it is Anekam. Whereas who am I? The ultimate Upadanam, Atma, I am Nitya, Sarvagataha, Nirvikari, Yekameva Advitiya Atma. Anatma are plenty, millions. Atma is one. One Sakshi Chaitanya Atma knows millions of names and forms. Millions of names and forms. So, all the millions of names and forms that are known are only of a lower order of reality called as Vyavaharika Satyam. What is there? Brahmaiva Asti. Prapanchasya karanam tasmat sarva prapanchoyam brahmaiva asti. Nacha itaram. Brahmaiva idam sarvam. Sarvam, brahmamayam sarvam jagat. So that is what? Everywhere, wherever you see, whatever you see is nothing but Brahman or Ishvara. In the next verse, to make this point more clear, now Bhagwan Shankaracharya brings in another explanation, very interesting. Just try to listen to it carefully. Now, we said in the previous Atma Swarupa verses, Atma pervades the whole universe. Upadana Karanataya. Atma is what? It is everywhere. Sarvagatam. Atma is Sarvagatam. It is present everywhere. It is present in everything. It pervades everything. That's what we saw, correct? Now again there'll be a doubt. There must be two things for one to pervade the other. Therefore, okay, I accept Atma pervades the entire Anatma. So there must be two things. Like the space is pervading this whole room. So there are two things. There is a room here, then there is a space which is pervading the room. So when you say something is pervading something, there are two things. One is that which has the one which pervades or enters, and the other one into which something pervades. Again, there'll be Dvaitam. So there are two things now. To remove that confusion also, now in the 46th verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, what does he say? Vyapya vyapakata mithya sarvamatmeti shasanat iti jnate pare tattve bhedasyavasarah kutaha. So, then are there two things? The pervader, Atma, and the pervaded universe? Are there two things? No. There are no two things called the pervader, Atma, and the pervaded universe. There are two things. Vyapya and Vyapaka. Vyapya Vyapakata. The pervaded and the pervader difference also is not correct. That's what he's saying. Mithya eva. It is mithya eva. Now, if I say the silk threads have pervaded this sari, is this sari different from the silk threads? No. Correct? There is not that this is a different thing and the silk threads have pervaded it. There are no two things. This sari is nothing but silk threads. What is there is only silk threads. But when there is a name and form, it manifests with, we say that this fabric is pervaded by the silk threads. But really speaking, the Vyapya fabric, the Vyapaka silk threads, are they different? There are no two things. Correct? Similarly, Brahman, the Vyapaka, and the world, the universe, the Vyapya, are not two different things. There is only one thing, therefore you cannot even say that it is Vyapaka or Vyapyam. Only for the sake of teaching, initially we use those words. Now I'll give you one example for this. There is an ocean which is water. There are waves which are coming. Now I can say the water is pervading the waves. Fine. The waves are the Vyapya. The ocean water is the Vyapakam, that which is pervading. For the sake of saying it, it's correct. Fine. But is the wave different from water? No. Can water pervade a wave? Because wave itself is water. Then what is a wave? It is the same water with a different name and form. What is an ocean? It is the same water with a samashti upadhi called as ocean. Whereas what are waves? The same water with a vyashti upadhi called as the different waves. Now, for the sake of general talk, I can say every wave is pervaded by water. Okay? The whole ocean is pervaded by water. Samashti, Vyashti, pervaded by the same Atma. Now, really speaking, if you think over it, are the waves really pervaded by water? Is a wave different? Water different? For water to pervade the wave? No. The wave is also water, Vyashti Rupena, small. The ocean also is water, Samashti Rupena. What is there is only water. In a big name and form, we call it ocean. In a small wave name and form, we call it the waves. So, Who is the Vyapaka here and who is the Vyapya here? There are no two things. There is only water. Similarly, take the example of gold. Similarly, take the example of clay and the clay objects. Can you differentiate between the Vyapaka pervader and the Vyapya which is pervaded? No, isn't it? Huh? Therefore, here he says, Vyapya Vyapakata Mithya. Even to give these two names, even to say that Atma is pervading the universe. So, what is the meaning? The universe did not have an Atma first, and then this Atma went and invaded, pervaded it. That's not the truth. Therefore, Vyapya Vyapakata also is Mithya, the pervaded universe pervaded by Atma, and Atma pervaded the universe also is wrong. That is also Mithya. It is only for the sake of saying, it's only the words. But because somehow the Shruti has to explain, isn't it? Sometimes the words have to be used. But later we understand that all these words are meant to explain, to make us understand that right now, initially, I don't know what is Atma. I'll say that the Atma pervades the entire Anatma. But then later on, as we progress into Vedanta, we should know that there's nothing called Atma and Anatma. There's nothing called Anatma at all. There is only Atma which is everywhere. Anatma is a mere manifestation of names and forms, which is Mithya. So there's no question of a pervading Atma and a pervaded universe. There, it's only a figure of speech. That's what he's trying to say. So, Vyapya Vyapakata Mithya Sarvam Atma iti Shasanat. Shasanat means it is the pramana of the Upanishads that Sarvam Atma. See, remember one thing. In the previous verse, he said, Brahmanaha anyat na vidyate. Now here he's saying, Sarva Atma iti Shasanat. So what does it mean? Brahman and Atma are one and the same. It's just the names which we use with reference to the Samashti and Vyashti. That's all. So in the previous verse, he says, Brahmana anyat prapanchasya upadanam na vidyate. Here he says, Vyapya Vyapakata Mithya Sarvam Atma. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Okay. Idam Sarvam Yadayam Atma, says Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Ayam Atma Brahma, says Mandukya Upanishad. So what is the meaning of this? Whatever is there, Vyapyam also is Atma, Vyapakam is also Atma. Therefore, the division between Atma and Anatma itself is not correct. Initially, it is done to make me understand. As a beginner, I start with Atma and Atma Vivek. But later, I should understand that Atma is a mere appearance, it really does not exist. Iti jnate pare tattve. When I understand this paratattvam or Atma like this, iti jnate, when it is known, the paratattvam, the Atma tattvam, Brahma tattvam in this way, bhedasya avasaraha kutaha. Where is the possibility of any difference? Where is the bheda? Where is multiplicity? Where is dvaitam? There is no bheda. Atma, Anatma, Bheda itself is not there. Why? There is no Anatma. Anatma is a mere appearance. When I look at myself in the mirror and see a reflection, do I try to make a Bheda between this face and the reflected face? No. Do I? No, I don't. I know that it's a reflection. It is there as an experiential reality, really not there. Only reality is this face. Then where is the bheda between this face and the reflected face? There is no bheda. Where is the bheda? There is no bheda. There is one thing. When there is only one thing, where is the question of differentiating it from something else? None of us will differentiate a reflection from me, the original face. There's no question because there are no two things. There is only. So, bhedasya avasaraha utaha. Where is the question of differentiating everything as Atma and Anatma? There's no need to differentiate. Where is the need to differentiate Vyapaka from Vyapya? Where is the need to differentiate Karanam from Karyam? No need. Because there is nothing called Karyam, it is Mithya. Vyapyam is Mithya. Reflection is Mithya. Manifestation is Mithya. Mithya means what? It is there, it is only experienced. Actually, really, absolutely, it is not there. That's it. So, all these are explained in various Upanishads also. Like it says, yes, there are, it's only one. Idam sarvam yadayam atma. That it says in Jyotir Brahmana in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it says that. Okay. Sarvam hi etad brahma ayam atma brahma. Mandukya Upanishad says that. Now next, Bhagwan Shankaracharya is going to give the pramanam for this from the Kathopanishad. He gives this. Let us see the 47th verse. If you remember this, Kathopanishad, when we said, there are two verses where it is said, Neha nanasti kinchana, na iha nana asti kinchana, na iha. Here, there is no multiplicity. There are no two things. There is only one thing. That is said in Kathopanishad, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That is what is going to be given as a pramana, as a proof by Bhagwan in the next verse, next one or two verses it's given. 47th verse we'll see. Shrutya nivaritam noonam nanatvam swamukhe nahi katham bhaso bhavedanyah sthite chadvaya karane. So he says, Shrutya nivaritam noonam. Certainly, verily, Shrutya nivaritam. The Shruti negates duality. The duality of what? Atma, Anatma. The duality of Karanam and Karyam. Vyapakam and Vyapyam. So, Shrutya nivaritam. The Shruti itself negates. So Shankaracharya is not telling, Acharya is not telling whatever he wants. It's not Shankaracharya's Advaita. Many people say that Shankaracharya's, no, it is not. The Advaitam is the very crux of the teaching of the Upanishads. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya has only made it possible for to understand. That's it. Advaitam is not anybody's Advaita. It is not my Advaita, your Advaita, or Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Advaita, or even Lord Krishna's Advaita. Advaita is that which has come in the beginning of the creation itself as the Upanishads. It is the Shruti. It is the Pramana by itself. So it is nobody's Advaita. It is the very truth of this whole universe. So Bhagwan makes it clear to us to understand what Kathopanishad says. It says, Manasa yeva anudrishtavyam nena nana neha nanasti kinchana. There is really nothing other than Atma. There are no multiples, there are no two things. So he says here, Shrutya nivaritam. Shruti is the pramana. We take Vedanta as the pramana, isn't it? Shrutya nivaritam noonam nanatvam swamukhena cha. Shruti with its own words. Swamukhena means what? With its own words. Shruti with its own words, in its own words, negates duality. What is the meaning of negating duality? Not closing our eyes to the world. Not saying that the world is not there. Negating duality means Whatever appears as the universe is not the absolute truth. The satyatvam that I give to the world is negated, not the world. The world is there as an experiential reality, as Ishvara Srishti, it won't go. But what is the meaning of negating the world? Negating the world means understanding that this manifest Jagat is not Satyam. It is only an experiential reality called as Mithya. Therefore, Shrutya api nivaritam, api where Shrutya only, there is no other way we can depend on any other pramana. So, Shrutya nivaritam nunam nanatvam swamukhena. Shruti, in its own words, negates the satyatvam of this universe called as anatma. Katham bhaso bhavedanya sthite cha advaya karane. Okay, so when there is no second cause, when there is no second thing, how can I give satyatvam to what appears? That is why we call it an appearance. What is an appearance? Appearance means that which is not real. I see images appearing on the screen and I call it movie. Is it real? It's a mere appearance. I see a dream. Is it real? It's a mere appearance. I see a snake on the rope. Is it real? It's a mere experience, appearance. So the world also, like that, is a mere appearance. Very difficult to accept, isn't it? So that's why Vedanta gurus say, Aham Satyam is easy to accept. After some time, maybe I can still confidently say Aham Brahmasmi. But Jagan Mithya is something very difficult to accept. That what I'm seeing, that what I'm transacting with for all these years of my life, it's really not there. Then what have I done? Why have I given so much importance all my life? I have fought for things which are really not there, which have really more meaning. It looks like that. So, Satyatvam that is given to the world is negated. Does not mean that, like Shunyavadi Bodhas, Advaita does not say that there is no world. It says, yes, there is a solidly experienced world, but it is not the absolute reality. Don't get bound by the appearance. All your samsara is only because of appearance. Like we cry in a movie with the characters, we laugh in the movie with the characters. It is like that. So, therefore, there is no question of my getting afflicted or affected by samsara. That's why, hey Mudhamate, all your samsara is because you are seeing mithya as satya. Understand and see the mithya as mithya, then all your samsara goes. There is no need to remove the samsara. It is no longer there. That is what is being said here. In the 48th verse, Doshopi vihita shrutya mrityor mrityum sagachati iha pashyati nanatvam mayaya vanchito naraha. So he says, in the Katopanishad itself, in the next verse, immediately after it says, Manasa eva anudrishtam vyam neha nanasti kinchana, it says, Yaha iha nana iva pashyati saha mrityoho mrityum apnoti. So, what is the effect of this seeing nanatvam when there is only ekatvam? Mrityum apnoti. Mrityoho mrityum apnoti. You go from one life to the other, one life to the other, one life to the other. You keep on going. And that dosha, the dosha of seeing, the unfortunate, the misfortune of seeing one Atma as Dvaitam Prapancha is what that also is told by the Shruti. Which Shruti? Katopanishad itself. Brihadaranyukopanishad also. So what does he say? Doshopi vihitah shrutya. Shruti or Upanishads talk about the consequences of seeing Nanatvam also. And what do they say? Mrityor mrityum sah gacchati. This person who sees multiple goes from death to death. That means what? Born in one body, dies, comes back in another body, dies again, comes back. The very fact that we are here in this body, how many millions of lives we have come and gone and come and gone and come and gone. At least now we have started understanding this. So there is a hope for us that in some life, maybe in near few lives, we may abide in this Atma Swarupam. We may be capable of seeing this whole universe as mithya and may escape from the samsara caused by mithya universe. So funny, isn't it? All our suffering is caused by something which is a mere appearance. It's like seeing a horror movie. When you see a horror movie, you are getting scared and your heart is beating fast, and you sometimes really shake when big sounds come. And when peculiar sound, background sound comes, you are afraid. We go through the entire samsara of a horror movie. So, what has happened to our lives have become a horror movie because we have taken this whole samsara as real. If we learn to watch this whole samsara as a movie, then we'll really, not suffer from it so much. So he says, doshopi vihita shrutya mrityor mrityum sagachati iha pashyati nanatvam mayaya vanchito naraha. Mayaya vanchitaha. This avidya has fooled all of us. Vanchitaha. In dream, the nidra avidya is fooling me to believe the dream as reality. In the waking state, this maya, avidya, vikshepa of maya, makes me believe that whatever is there is real. So it is the same thing. So that is why it is said that in all our Shrutis, it said this whole universe is Swapna Matram. Like a dream, this Jagrit Jagat also is nothing other than a dream. That's what in Mandukya Upanishad there is a chapter called Vaitathya Prakarana, in which Gauda Padacharya says that just like a dream, this Jagrit Prapancha is a bigger dream. So he says here, Iha Pashyati Nanatvam Mayaya Vanchito Naraha Mrityoho Mrityum Sagachati. The one who is under the clutches of the ignorance of Maya sees this one Atma as many and suffers samsara, comes back again and again and again into life and again. So, what is the answer? Atma Vidya. Why Atma Vidya? It is the knowledge which removes this ignorance of Maya and frees me from my delusion. Okay, then in the 49th verse, the same thing is talked about. ब्रह्मणः सर्वभूतानि जायन्ते परमात्मनः तस्मादेतानि ब्रह्मैव भवन्तीत्यवधारयेत्. The Upanishads say all the jivas that are born, all the living beings that are born in Atma, they sustain in Atma, and then they resolve back into Atma. Yatova imani bhuta nijayante ye na jana nijivanti yat prayanti abhisamvishanti tad vijignasatsva tad brahmeti. So this is one of the verses of our Taittiriya Upanishad. So here everything comes out. All the living beings are nothing but an appearance in this Atma, existing in this Atma, resolving into this Atma. So next verse says, Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha Jayante Sarva Bhutani. All the bhutas, here bhutas are not pancha bhutas. Okay, they are not Panchabhutas. Bhutas may also be mistaken for Panchabhutas. Nothing wrong in taking it as Panchabhutas, because we are all ultimately the Panchabhautika, this whole, this Jiva, the body, mind, sense complex. So, Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha Jayante Sarvani Bhutani. All these Bhutani, Imani Bhutani, all these Bhutas, all these living beings, Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha Jayante. Paramatma and Brahma are one. He is giving two words for Brahman. Paramatmanaha, Brahmanaha, that is from Brahman, from this Paramatma, all the living beings are born. Tasmadyetani, therefore all these jivas, all these bhutas, Brahmaiva bhavanti. We are all Brahman only. Upanishads are the only source of knowledge which will call me Brahman. They'll say, you are the highest. Everywhere else we are put down. You are this, you are that, you are useless, you are a sinner. No, only our Upanishads tell us that you are the highest reality. Tasmad yetani bhutani brahmaiva. All the living beings are nothing but Brahman. This body, mind, sense complex is the anatma manifestation of Brahman. This vyapya shariram is nothing, not different from the vyapakam atma. Therefore, who am I? Tasmad yetani brahmaiva bhavanti. All of us are nothing but Brahman. Individuality is just a temporary phenomenon for the sake of vyavahara, which is mithya. In reality, every jiva is nothing but Brahman. Iti avadharaye. May you understand this. May you understand, may you conclude, may you know it for sure that there is nothing else other than Brahman. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. Then what about this Anatma, body, mind, sense complex? It is mithya. It is a temporary existence. It's an experiential reality. It has no meaning by itself. It is supported by me, Atma Brahman. It exists because of me, the Atma Brahman. It also resolves back into me, the Atma or Brahman. Tasmad, who am I? I am that Atma or Brahman. Anatma is a mere appearance. So, what is Anatma? Really not there. Therefore, what is there? One thing only. Ekameva Brahma, Ekameva Atma, Ekameva Advitiya Atma. One without a second. So, initially Atma Anatma Viveka, then proving that Anatma itself is not significant. Atakuntu Lekkakilla, I said last time. Same thing. The only reality is I, the Atma. I, Brahman, I am Atma Brahma, is the only reality. I think we'll stop with this today. And then, of course, the same concept, or not concept, the same reality, the same truth is being talked about for another 3-4 verses. That is where the Anatma is talked about. Then again, the text goes back to this reality, which is the real one underlying this, or which is the content of Anatma. ॐ नन्दन्तु साधका सर्वे विनश्यन्तु विदूषकाः अवस्थाशाम्भवी मेस्तु प्रसन्नोऽस्तु गुरुः सदा सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ तत्सत्